What is up? This is your LA in a minute, and I'm here in the Hollywood Hills in front of this old relic of a box that says Time Switch. Now, is this some sort of secret time machine from the early 20th century? Not quite, but it is a window back into LA's original days with electricity, and it actually had a very important usage in the early 20th century. And in fact, there's still a couple dozen around if you look closely enough. Let's get into it. So these time switch boxes were installed by the Bureau of Power and Light all around Los Angeles in the early 1900s. What are they exactly? Well, they're pretty simple. It's a timer or a time control box, a device that controls exactly when an appliance or lighting system is turned on or off. Now, what they were used to turn on and off were the street lights throughout the city. Most of the street lights at the time, by the way, were electro rollers. An electro roller, some of which still exist today, are defined as freestanding streetlights that are generally on their own posts. So this era of time switch activated street lighting on electro rollers took place between the turn of the century and the First World War. These were vertically mounted incandescent lights, which were low in height, placed close together, and often ornamental. And yes, used time switches to turn on and off. This was a big deal because Los Angeles at this time was developing in population, culture, and nightlife. And it was also quickly becoming the mass transit capital of the world. And the circuits on these rail cars were, you guessed it, controlled by time switches. But as technology improved, time switches got a little bit outdated, and the switches eventually evolved into manually operated switches in distributing stations. And as the city kept blossoming, the time switches were deemed more and more unsatisfactory. At best, they were deemed fairly satisfactory. They only switched time due to time, not weather conditions or lighting overcast days. And as was happening more and more often, the time switches failed to trip. Nowadays, streetlights in LA have come a long way. They're part of LA's transformation to a smart city. And not only do they light on their own through various factors, they're also able to charge electric vehicles, provide Wi-Fi service, and power up cell phones and monitor air quality. Wow. And nowadays, these time switch boxes exist, but they're disappearing quickly, and there's only about a dozen left in LA. And what are they used for? To house street lighting equipment. So unfortunately, this time switch box isn't actually a time machine, but it is a window into a different time of original Los Angeles, when these time switch boxes were what they needed to control the street lights and the rail cars. All right, LA, it's been a minute.